So this chapter, I'm starting again that this chapter is all about Jasper brothers, okay, who were making boots, and the narrator, he knows him since his youth. So I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boots. So he said that he knew him, Mr. Jasler, since his young days because his father got his boots made from him. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street. By street means where the main market is there, and by the side of it there is another simple street, which is in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. So so that shoemaker, he is living with his elder brother in his shop, and this is a small shop which is in the more fashionable area of London and in the adjoining small street. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Jasper Brothers. So, how simple looking their shop was. It was really very simple shop because on the board nothing was written. It was written only Jasper Brothers, and in the window a few pair of boots. And they did not have much pomp and show attractive things in order to attract the customers. So it means that if you have good quality, it is not the advertisement that matters, but actually it is your, but what actually it is your work that speaks. So, and otherwise they did not have many pair of boots displayed there. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never fails to fit. Yes, he was so perfect in his, you can say, in his work, that whatever thing he was making, it perfectly, you can say, fit the person, and it never fails. So this is the quality of work that he was doing. And to make boots, such boots as he made, seems to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. So the narrator is saying to make boots, such boots as he made, that the kind of boots he is making, it seems that it is really strange, it is mysterious, it is wonderful, and it is really very good. I remember well my shy remarks. One day, shy means full of, you can say, full of humility. One day, while stretching out to him my youthful foot, isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Jessler? And his answer, given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, it is an art. So this is the language accent that he is speaking because it is a German accent. So actually, what actually he is saying it is an art. Actually, it is an art. So he is remembering the day when, with little bit of shyness, he has extended his foot in front of him in order to give the size, and he thought, he asked Mr. Jessler, isn't it difficult to make boot of appropriate size? And Mr. Jessler, you can say, his beard was of red color, and out of this redness, what he said, yes, this is an art, and I'll perfectly make that art. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly long, and having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boots stitched into them. So he said, it is not like that often I go to him. Why? It is because of the reason that the kinds of boots he was making, they lasted long, terribly long. Means if it is, we are expecting it to 5 years, maybe it is going to up to 6 years. And having something beyond the temporary means it is not like ordinary boots that people used to make. It has some essence of boot stitched into them. It seems that there is another kind of boot which is stitched into them because the boot that he makes, it fits so appropriately that one cannot deny, or one always appreciate the type of fitness that they are giving. One went in, not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, and sitting on single wooden chair waited. So one went in not as into many shops. If someone will go there into their shop, the person will not go to many shops. And as one enters a church and sitting on single wooden chair waited. So one person is allowed to go inside the shop to discuss the things, to give the size, to give the match, coming back. And rest are waiting outside like they are going into a church one by one, and one others are waiting outside on a wooden chair. A guttural sound and the tip-tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat and a little bench in leather apron, with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots. So this is the expression of Mr. Jessler. A guttural sound, heavy sound produced, okay, harsh sound produced from the throat. Tip tap of his slippers, when he moves, the sound tip tap is produced because when he is going up, because on in the shop there is a narrow, you can say, shed where he is keeping all the material, and from the stairs he is going up there. Because the shop is divided into two parts, half of the roof is used for keeping up the material. So he is going up, and most of the times he is in his bending posture. This is the reason why he is little bent. In leather apron, he is always wearing a leather apron in order so to protect his clothes. With sleeves always turned back. You know, sleeves in this manner turned back. And blinking. His eyes blinking as if he has been awakened from the dream of his boots. And I would say, how do you do, Mr. Jessler? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? So when he would go inside, he would ask, how are you, Mr. Jessler? And can you make a pair of Russian leather boots? Russian leather means it's a special kind of leather from Russia. Without a word, he would leave me retiring whence means when he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to the rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. Incense of his trade means, incense means smell. Of his trade means, because what was his trade? What was his job? What was his job? It was only that of boot making. The work was associated with the leather. So ultimately, there was the smell of leather all around his shop. So he's saying, without a word, he would leave me retiring whence he came, or into another portion of the shop. Without saying anything, he would go to the other portion of the shop. And the author is saying that I would sit on the wooden chair, just smelling the leather of the shop. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. It means that Mr. Jessler was not talking much with the customers. He's just, you can say, he's just going back without saying a word, would bring Russian leather of gold brown color and would show the narrator, is it fine? With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, what a beautiful piece. When I too had admired it, he would speak again, when do you want them? DEM means them, THEM. Because the story is of German origin, he is of German origin. This is the reason why he is speaking in this manner. Okay. So what he said, then he would bring that leather would show, and he's saying this is really very fine piece of leather. And when the narrator also approves it, yes, it is. Then ultimately he would ask when you need them, and I would answer, oh, as soon as you conveniently can. And he would say, tomorrow fortnight. Tomorrow fortnight means after fortnight. Fortnight means after 15 days. Okay. So he said, then after 15 days. Or if he were his elder brother, I'll ask my brother. BRUDDER means brother. So what he said, or if I were his elder brother means if it would be made little bit earlier, he would ask his brother and will give it earlier. Then I would murmur. Murmur means speak in a low voice. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Jessler. Good morning, he would say, and still looking at the leather in his hands. And as I moved up to the door, I would hear the tip tap of his slippers going up the stairs to his dream of boots. So when he says, yes, thank you very much, the narrator would go back out of the shop and saying good morning to Mr. Dessler. When he came back from the shop, he would listen again the moving tip tap of the shoes which was going up the stairs. It seems that he is always dreaming of his boots there. I cannot forget that day on which I had the occasion to say to him, Mr. Dessler, the last pair of boots creaked, you know. So I cannot forget, he said that I cannot forget that day, which day, when there was a time I told that the boot you have made, it creaked, it makes sounds. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement, and then said, it shouldn't have creaked. Creak means creak. So he was so sure of the quality of the boots he makes. He was saying that how is this possible? And he was just looking at him that he should withdraw his statement and would say that no, it hadn't creaked. It did. I'm afraid. Narrator said, no, it did. I'm afraid that they would break. You got them a heart before they found themselves. I don't think so. So what it means, you got them wet before they found themselves. It means he said it is because of the reason you got them wet. Wet means wet. They have got wet. Narrator said, I don't think so. And that he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots. And I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. Send them back. Send them back means send them back. I look at them. Now, he was lowering his eyes and in this manner, and he was just thinking which pair of boots. Then he was not expecting any, you can say, complaint from his side. He said, okay, send those boots back to me. I'll see what can be done. Some boots means some boots. He continued, are bad from birth. Bad from birth. Birth. You can see the annotations given here. Okay, they are bad from birth. If I can do nothing means nothing with them, I take them off your bill. He said, just bring the boots. If I cannot repair them, if I cannot do with them anything, I will return your money. Once only I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. See, once only, he said, once only I absent-mindedly, without thinking, I went into a shop where I was in emergency of purchasing the boots, and it was a large firm, famous shop. I went there to purchase the boots, and ultimately, by wearing those shoes, I went into his shop also when he was about to give an order of new pair of shoes. So the man, he was just looking at the inferior covering of my foot. Inferior covering means the inferior kind of leather that was used in the making of those boots. At last he said, those are not my boots. He said, sir, these are not my boots. The tone was not one of anger nor of sorrow, and nor of even contempt. But there was in it something quite that froze the blood. So the tone, what kind of tone? He said he was not angry. He was not sorrowful also that I have not purchased. Why I have not purchased next pair of boots from him. Nor he is filled with any kind of contempt, dislike, that why I have not purchased shoes from him. But there was something quiet that froze the blood, that really made him, you can say, feel surprised, froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. So what happened? What he did, he put his hand down, and where on the left side of the boot, of my boot, which I was wearing, he pressed his finger in this manner. There you are feeling uncomfortable. It hurts you there. It hurts means it hurts you there. Those big worms means firms, have no self-respect. He's saying that those big firms who are making these boots, actually they don't have any self-respect. They are not using material of good quality. Moreover, they are not giving you accurate sizes. And then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. He said, after that, something had given way within him, something agitating, something harsh happened inside him. And he started speaking bitterly about big firms. It was the only time I have ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. Only then at that time, the narrator is saying, I came to know how difficult their business is. How difficult and what are the difficulties he is facing in his business. They get it all, he said. They get it by advertisement, not by work. He said, actually, those big firms, they get it all done. How they are doing it? It is not by the work they are doing. It is not because of the kind of work they put on, but only by advertisements. They take it away from us who love our good. Love means love. Actually, what are they doing? They are taking it away from us because we love our boots. We are loving our business. And and it it came to this. Presently, I have no work. And presently, what is happening? Presently means presently. See here. And presently, I have no work. Every year it gets less. And every year it gets less. So this is the point where he has mentioned that how difficult his business is. He has to undergo a number of hardships in order to continue his business. And this is what he is passing through. He's saying, and looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter things, bitter struggle, and what a lot of gray hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. He said, on that very first day, I looked at him with a different thinking. I have never thought that these kind of hardships are faced by him, that how difficult it is for him to continue his business. And it is for the first time I saw worry on his face. And that worry is also reflected in his beard. How? In the form of gray hairs that was shown in his red beard. He said, I have never ever noticed those gray hairs. I have never thought that they were really tough times for him. As best I could, I explained the circumstances of those ill-omened boots. So, but this, his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes, I ordered many pairs. So, as best I could, he said, at that moment, I explained the circumstances of those ill-omened. Omened means poor condition of the boots. At that time, he said, I explained everything about the condition of my poor boots. And ultimately, when I came to know that he is really suffering from bad times, I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever. He had made them so perfect that they lasted for many years. And I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. And he said, I did not need to go to him for 2 years. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time it appeared to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. So after my first visit, after many months I went there, the narrator is saying, he said, this time I did not find Mr. Jessler. His elder brother was in the shop. Well, Mr. Jessler, how are you? He came close and peered at me. Peered means looked closely at me. He went into the shop, said, how are you? I'm pretty well. I'm pretty well means I'm pretty well. He said slowly, but my elder brother is dead. But he said, my elder brother is dead. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and when. He said that on that day I came to know that how aged this man is looking than before. And never before had I heard him mention his brother. And he said, after that, I have never heard of before that, I have never heard him mentioning his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, "Oh, I'm sorry." So he was feeling sorry for the death of his brother. Yes, he answered. He was a good man. He made a good boot. He said he was a good man. He made good boots, but he's dead. And he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother. So then, afterwards, what happened? Then he touched his head in this manner, where the hair has gone bald, thinning of hair because of tension, because of stress, and to indicate, I suppose, the cause of his death. Do you want any boots? So, as if he wanted to mention that what is the reason of his death. But then he asked, "Do you want any boots?" And he held up the leather in his hand. It's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. And then the leather he was holding, he has shown to him, "Sir, this is a beautiful piece. You can make the boots out of it." So, till here we have to study today. And in the next one, we will continue with the further story, which is a very beautiful story. It means that from the superficial side, we don't come to know how hard sometimes the life is for a person. But when we go deep into the person, we come to know, yes, it is same for all. And this is what he is suffering from, that we will study further tomorrow. That's all for today. Now you can ask your doubts.